Have you recently started your plant-based diet transition, but don't know why you're getting so much gas and bloating and wonder when it'll ever end? Maybe you've only been eating this way for a week or have been transitioning for a few months, but still find the gas, pain, and embarrassment to be excruciating. You're scared now to eat too many plant-based foods like beans and also don't know why others seem to have a smooth sailing transition with little to no gas issues. Feels defeating, doesn't it? Well, don't give up yet. In today's episode, I want to share 4 likely reasons why lots of excess gas, bloating, and other gut symptoms can be experienced in the transition period. And even if you haven't started plant-based eating yet, you'll still want to listen in so you can avoid potential gut issues and enjoy a smooth transition right from the get-go. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Plant-Based Eating Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Anna Zinn, plant-based registered dietitian and transition coach. Hi friend, do you want to regain your health with plant-based eating but feel overwhelmed and lost about how to do it? Do you feel it'll be hard to change your meat-heavy diet and impossible with working, running the home, or chasing after the grandkids? If so, you're in the right place. Here you'll find simple strategies, clear nutrition guidance, and practical tips to help you thrive plant-powered with more energy. So if you're ready to ditch the guesswork and transform your health the stress-free way, cozy up now with a hot cup of tea or listen while you walk, and let me show you how doable plant-based eating can be. Let's do this. I want to first take a moment to say a heartfelt thank you to all who have listened to the podcast so far and taken the time to leave a rating and review. Your support of this podcast means so much to me. I want to take this moment to also give a special shout out to Tanya E., who wrote, I have been interested in improving my health through a plant-based diet lifestyle, but get completely overwhelmed. Anna does such a great job of simplifying the information and process for transitioning to plant-based eating. This is the perfect resource for anyone looking to improve their nutrition and health. From Tanya E., the Grace-Filled Leader Podcast. Thank you, Tanya, for these kind words. I'm encouraged to keep going and hope this podcast will continue to help you and others to eat more plant-powered. If this podcast has benefited you in your health journey, the number one way to thank me is to take a quick moment to leave a rating and written review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. If you have an Apple device, find the Apple Podcast app icon. It's purple with white circles. Open it, then search for Plant-Based Eating Made Easy. Then once there, scroll all the way down past the 5-star symbols and click on Write a Review. Leave a star rating, write your review, it doesn't have to be long, then click Send or Submit. You can also leave a review if you have iTunes downloaded on your PC computer. It'll truly light up my day and you may get your review spotlighted on an episode too, like Tanya did. Now let's move into today's episode. Gas, bloating, and cramping. These seem to be such a common complaint that I see in some of the Facebook group communities I am a part of, including my own. I see some experiencing horrible gut pains and smelly gas in the first week of making the change, while others are still dealing with this same problem many months down the line. Here are just a few examples of what I've read in Facebook group posts. One comment reads, we are so here. Officially 1 week and 1 day into our flexitarian journey. We all had bloat and awful gas at the start. My hubby looks like he has a little beer gut and he doesn't even drink. My body is getting used to it faster, but I've only eaten meat at dinner for a long time. Same with my kids since I feed them, LOL. Another commentator wrote, I made it 3 months and had to incorporate meat back into my diet. My body just doesn't tolerate all those beans. The gas and bloating was horrendous and it didn't subside. As a hairstylist, I work closely with people. It just wasn't working. Wow, can you relate to these situations? It's really not fun to have bloating and pass that much gas or be around someone who does. That's why I knew I needed to address this topic on my podcast. I've also had some from my community reach out to me via email and within my Facebook group, asking for help with their bloating, gas, diarrhea, or other gut issues, and I want to help. If you haven't started your plant-based diet transition yet, even better. You'll be able to get ahead of the game by listening in and learning some of the potential causes of excess gas and gut discomfort so you can avoid them and have a smoother, more enjoyable time moving to plant-based eating. Let's go! Now, first, there are 3 simple basics I want you to understand. The first is this: not everyone who starts a plant-based diet gets gut issues. It's normal to have a little bit more gas pass during this transition period because your body is getting used to digesting a different set of foods. But you don't need to be expecting and shouldn't be expecting lots of gut discomfort for a very long extended period of time. If you are, there are likely other reasons at play, which is what we'll get into. So don't be afraid of starting plant-based eating because you don't want to face gas and other gut issues. You likely won't if you understand your body well and use smart transition methods and strategies. I work closely on this with my clients when helping them transition, and none of them have complained of excessive gas or bloating as they move into a lifestyle that is 90 to 100% plant-based, usually immediately or within the first month. The second is this: the type and severity of gut issues experienced can vary. Gut symptoms that could be experienced during the transition phase can include increased gassiness, bloating, cramps, constipation, and possibly diarrhea or loose stools. But what one person experiences and its severity level could be very different from what another experiences, and some may not even have a gas issue in their transition at all. That's because each person coming into plant-based eating is truly unique. So what you see your neighbor experiencing in her transition may not be what you have. The third thing is this: it should be transient. For the vast majority of people with transitional gut issues, these symptoms will be temporary. It could take a few weeks to a few months, but it should be getting better as your gut develops the ability and capacity to continue to process high-fiber, nutrient-rich, whole plant-based foods. Now, there can be many factors involved and possible causes of excess gas, bloating, diarrhea, and other gut issues experienced during a plant-based diet transition. And it is often easier to troubleshoot this when I work one-on-one with a client and am able to look more closely into his or her specific situation. But today, I want to highlight 4 of the most common reasons I see. Reason number 1 is this: making too big of a sudden jump. If you were previously on a standard American diet or SAD diet, eating basically lots of meat, animal-based products, and highly processed commercially manufactured foods with very little vegetables or legumes, you'll likely have more gut discomfort initially, and even more if you switch completely overnight to eating fully plant-based the next day. That's because your gut has been so used to processing the meats and low-fiber processed foods that it needs more time to adjust to this new way of eating. When you eat plant-based, you're not only nurturing your body, but also a different set of microbes or gut bacteria to help digest and ferment the new foods you're eating. Here's reason number 2: eating a ton of raw produce. Eating fresh or frozen vegetables and fruits is great for health, but I've noticed that some starting plant-based eating can go overboard during that initial transition phase. They start out not only eating lots of beans and whole grains, but have daily smoothies and large salads every night. You get the point. These nutrient-packed whole foods are definitely nourishing the body, but they may also tax your system those first few weeks in trying to process it all, and you may experience more gas, bloating, and possibly diarrhea. A wiser approach may be to start with smaller portions of raw vegetables or focus on adding in more cooked veggies first in that initial transition phase, especially if your previous diet didn't include many of these foods. Reason number 3: not prepping and cooking legumes right. This is another super common reason of excess gas, not prepping and cooking whole plant-based foods like legumes the right way before eating them. Legumes refer to beans, lentils, split peas, chickpeas, or garbanzo beans. They are nutrient-rich, high in fiber, and a super important part of a plant-based diet. But they can cause more gas, bloating, and other gut symptoms during digestion if not prepared right. This is a key reason why I created the online Plant Power Life Transformation course, to teach people how to prepare and cook with whole plant-based foods like legumes to maximize their flavor and enjoyment in tasty meals while minimizing transition issues like unpleasant gas and bloating. Students who leave this course all walk away with confidence, with essential cooking skills and strategies to help them transition with ease and thrive eating plant-based for life. Reason number 4, having a more sensitive gut or GI system at baseline. If you already have a sensitive digestive system, you may experience a slightly longer gut transition time after moving to plant-based eating. A good example of this would be my daughter. She initially did not have a very robust digestive system and will often complain of stomach aches and get diarrhea even prior to our family moving to a plant-based diet. Then, during the period of transition, I noticed she passed a lot more gas and they were often smelly. But we stuck with it, and then about 6 months to a year later, the gas issue completely disappeared and she was since able to eat like a horse and enjoy regular formed stools. So today we looked at 4 common reasons behind excess gas, bloating, and other gut symptoms experienced during the transition period. These are 1. Making too big of a sudden jump. 2. Eating a ton of raw produce. 3. Not prepping and cooking legumes right. And 4. Having a more sensitive gut or GI system at baseline. Now take this action step right away. See if one or more of these likely reasons shared today may apply to your situation. Then see if you need to make adjustments to your current way of transitioning to allow more time for your gut to adapt. For many, gut issues like gas and bloating are common transition challenges, when in actual fact they shouldn't have to face them, or at least not to the same degree I see people experiencing. But these issues often tend to arise in those who try to make this plant-based diet change on their own without much guidance, so they end up not approaching this transition in the right way. The best way to begin, though, if you're about to start your plant-based diet transition, is to start off smart with the right strategies and know-how so you can avoid having much gut transition issues at all. Remember, your plant-based diet transition doesn't need to be filled with stress, worry, second-guessing, and frustration. With the right guidance, support, and strategies, you can have a smooth and enjoyable transition to a plant-based diet without much issues. And I want to help you move to a plant-powered lifestyle with success. Let me show you how. Reach out to me at healthnow@plantnourish.com to find out how I can support you in your plant-based diet transition. You can also apply for a free rapid health transformation call using the link in the show notes. We'll connect and I can see if and how I can help your specific situation. Let's do this together. Thank you so much for listening. If this podcast has inspired, encouraged, or helped you in some way to transform your health, I would love to hear about it. Please take 30 seconds to rate and leave a written review on Apple Podcasts to let me know. It will encourage me so much to hear how this podcast has positively impacted and made a difference in your journey towards wellness. And share about this podcast with a friend or loved one so we can all thrive in the best health. Remember, plant-based eating can be easy and doable. See you in the next episode, my friend.